DNVR Draft Day Live, Day 3. Of course, they're showing a player's highlights against the Buffs on this.
Oh my gosh, they've been doing that nonstop.
Yep, those days are over.
That's ESPN's favorite shtick.
Did you hear? Somebody made the joke today.
I think it was Reese Davis.
Was that who it was?
What he said, but
oh, it was awesome. He's like, oh, you can't be showing the highlights against Colorado, man. Like,
and then someone was like, you got to do it while you can before Dion gets it right.
Well, yeah, well, it was the other guy who said like, can't be saying that. Like, come on. And then he was like, we're just getting it in while we can. It's like, okay, sure you are. Just taking shots for no reason.
This is also known as the DNVR Nuggets podcast. Based on our attire. Well, at least, we know what's most important.
Spencer has walked down the stairs in a Rockies jersey.
He's going to the Rockies takeover.
During the Nuggets game?
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, is he okay?
You got to plan these ahead,
Oh, no.
Henry.
We bring him on stream, give him a hug or something.
He was in good spirits when I spoke to him.
No way.
Yes. Actually.
No way.
Yes.
There's no way.
He's got to learn.
For the Rockies takeover, it's going to be a great time.
He's got to learn how to delegate to someone below you.
Yeah.
When you don't want to do something.
He's in one of those positions like yours truly where there's not someone below you.
That makes no sense for you.
You're the general manager.
Yeah, but like...
So that means everybody in general is below you. Everything generally is under your control.
Sure, but there's no one to really hand those day-to-day duties over to, You
just say,
like
hey, I need you to go do this.
Off? Like Rhino can just be like, hey, can you fill in on buffs today?
You could be like, hey, can you fill in on spreadsheets today?
Right. Yeah. Could you jump in on these meetings, handle this matter?
I could do
for about payroll, and then to finish it all off. I lost my train of thought.
Okay,
it's okay.
Anyways,
you lost me too.
We're praying for Spence. And it's a Nuggets day, but more importantly, J.L. Skinner.
He's so sick.
He's so sick.
He was on all of my lists of my favorite players.
Ooh, like you're my guys.
Yeah,
let's go.
By like,
do we have the my guys graphic to?
Did we make a my guys?
Oh
graphic?
My gosh, Ryan, you wouldn't believe the graphics we handed in.
Wow,
unbeknownst to you.
Oh wow.
Did you hand in your bits graphics?
No, my bits are
no need.
Don't need graphics.
Exactly.
They're self-sustaining.
Look at that.
So basically,
can your eyes see what I am seeing, Ryan?
I don't.
Those are his guys. Lower right corner. Thank goodness we squeezed him in there. Thank goodness.
You got 10 guys? That seems like a lot of guys.
I didn't know what to do. Yaya sent a message and was like, hey, can you send like a list of your favorite guys? And I was going to be like, oh, you mean like for tonight, for the first round, or like for the Broncos, or like... And so I was just like, you know what? I'm not even going to ask the question. I'm just going to list a bunch of guys, and if he doesn't like them, he'll tell me what's wrong with it. So there's J.L. Skinner down in that bottom right corner. He's gone now. Good timing.
It's a dirty name when you say it out loud. Is Caleb Murphy a prospect in the NHL draft? What is that school?
Oh, you're so disrespectful. That is Ferris State.
Ferris State, bro.
Yeah,
right,
Ferris
great
State.
hockey school. I know Puck, you guys.
Okay, you know Puck. So D2 national champions.
I'm assuming he hasn't gone off the board yet.
I don't think he has.
So the two available are your small school guys. Pronounce the first guy's name.
Hunter Lepke. He's insane. But Caleb Murphy, though, just while he's coming up.
K-Murph.
Ted Hendricks Award goes to the best defensive end.
Ted Hendricks, of course.
Best pass rusher.
Right.
Been going on for like 20-something years now.
D2 or just in general?
In general. So there's been one time ever that they've given it to a non-Power 5 player. It was, I can't remember who it was.
Let's just say Jared Allen.
Max Crosby.
No,
sure.
Let's say Jared Allen.
Non-FBS.
Max Crosby's a MAC guy. That's a big conference.
But they're all big names.
Play on Tuesdays.
They went. They skipped all of FCS and gave it to Caleb Murphy this year. He had 26 and a half sacks.
Oh, fuck.
Wow.
He had 40 tackles for loss. Just like he was the reason that team is back-to-back champions. He has 40 sacks over the last 2 seasons. Just insane.
I feel like I saw him go off the board, if we're being completely honest.
I had to drive over. I might have missed it.
If he just said 5 minutes on a guy who's already been drafted, I'm going to lose my shit.
I think he was drafted in like the 5th, to be honest.
I wouldn't be surprised.
God.
I just feel like I heard Ferris State come up a lot. Anyways, maybe it's the other guy from Ferris State.
Yeah.
J.L. Skinner fires me up. Number one thing
Yeah,
that fires
wow.
me up about him is that his name, JL, doesn't stand for anything.
Yep.
It's JL.
That's amazing.
And the reason why I love that so much is because I've been campaigning for years for Allie and I to name our potential future son RK. So I kind of got a little, arrow in the quiver now.
Wow.
If you will.
It's like naming your child Brawny. The child gets your nickety.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like me going with Dre, you
Wow.
going with Hank.
Braun,
Jr..
LeBron actually winning social media today. You see like the tweet? It's like
I thought that
Jay-Z
tweet was
lyrics.
terrible.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought it
one
was
of-
so good.
One of the worst tweets I've ever seen.
Oh my
timeline
goodness, he
is
just-
only day 3 draft analysis.
Oh,
Caleb
wow.
Murphy.
Emery Hunt analysis.
By the way, Caleb Murphy's still on the board.
Caleb Murphy's
That
still
makes
on the
sense.
board.
Let's go,
Also makes sense.
baby.
We want
Let's
Caleb
go.
Murphy.
Because this is undrafted free agent city.
Okay, so Henry,
True.
why was J.L. Skinner one of your guys?
He's just incredible. So okay, so when I first started watching him,
analysis.
it was a lot of like coverage stuff. So he's like jumping up in coverage, he's like doing some of that sort of stuff, and it's like, wow, he's quick and those long arms, long legs, and you're just like, wow, that guy. There's something
off
there.
playing things in front
Exactly.
of him, jumping
Exactly.
in. Right. See ball, go to ball. He's
then-
around the ball constantly.
Exactly, and
Number
then you go
0,
and you're
we
like,
don't like that.
I've got to go like look at the
Looks
stats,
good on him.
see what's up, and he's like 6'4", more than 200 pounds. I was like, well, wait,
So true.
he's that big. He because of the length of his arms and legs,
Oh
he
my
doesn't even
gosh.
look that big.
He's
and then
more
you start,
coordinated than that. Yeah.
oh yeah, he knows how to use them. But then when he hits, like that's what separates him from everybody else. So you have like the burst, you have the length. Like there's reasons why he wasn't a first round pick. The torn pec is a big reason. Like I tweeted, I would have been happy with him at 67.
Torn Peck couldn't test out the combine because of it.
Exactly. So you don't know the numbers, but you know he's not super fluid, and the change of direction stuff isn't great. But what do you expect from somebody who has long ass legs like that and is 6'4"? Like that's just not anatomically anatomically
There he is. That's our
anatomically
guy.
possible.
Yep. He nailed it. Such a great
Animatronic.
Thinking of
job.
like
Anatomically.
Chuck E. Cheese animatronics.
Of who isn't? Those actually,
I
the
didn't
Disney
realize
World
Chuck E.
ones
Cheese
are
was
pretty
known
insane.
For its animatronics. Oh,
Like when
not
you get
Chuck
in
E.
there?
Cheese's?
No, those are not up to snow. what are you talking about?
I would
Drake?
love to have one of those
How
in like a man
silly.
cave.
How silly. So what you like him in the box? You like him closer to the line of scrimmage? He's not
I
a
don't-
cover 1 safety, right? Like he's not
No.
like a deep. Which obviously, like
Center field.
you don't
yeah.
need a Justin Simmons backup.
Exactly,
You
but I
need a
do
guy to
think-
play next to Justin.
With those long legs and the long arms, like he's gonna be long striding. I think he could hold up better back there than you expect. Like I maybe in like a cover 1 situation better than like a cover 3 situation where you're responsible for all that land. It's like, can you help to the boundaries on deep balls? I think he probably could.
Yeah, he's such an interesting prospect. Looked over my Senior Bowl notes, great notes on him across the board. Really showed up in one-on-one drills in coverage, which says a lot for a guy who you just praised for everything else he does. Coverage, fluidity, change of direction is going to be his biggest question mark because if it's in front of him, he is spectacular. Justin was really high on him. Of course, Justin Michael of DNVR Rams. No one's tapped into the Mountain West more. Had a
Tweeted a
real
highlight of him against the
reputation
Rams.
in the conference as like the hard hitter of the conference. Shows out at the Senior Bowl. Has a really nice career. He's got the measurables. Really nice on-ball production this final season with the Broncos, where he had 4 interceptions. Then tears his pec. I wonder if watching his tape, because the raw speed, straight line speed, I think is there because you see it when stuff's in front of him, he's closing that gap, flying to the ball really quickly. When he needs to run after something and he's got that motor in pursuit, run down a wide receiver, he gets that. I wonder if he could have ran that 4.5, been one of the fastest safeties, and then he would have been gone
Yep.
80 picks ago.
At least.
My question with him is ultimately his ceiling. Is his ceiling he's like the 11th best starter on a defense with scheme and teammates like a Justin Simmons who kind of cover up for his deficiencies and exalt his strengths? Or is there a little more there, you know? And the on-ball production and that length, and like the one-on-ones we saw at the Senior Bowl, put on the Oregon State tape. He looks great against Luke Musgrave, probably the best pure receiving tight end in this class after Kincaid. And then there's like the BYU tape where they're in 4 and 5 wide. All he's doing is moving in coverage, and he needs to be closer to that line of scrimmage. I'm worried for Justin Sternad because maybe he's more that early down nickel, almost cover linebacker.
His time probably ended last night with Drew Sanders.
Right,
He's in
but
rough shape.
in a sense, Skinner fits more that Sternad profile, special team help as well. There's lots to like. I do wonder what his ultimate ceiling is, but he's just another weapon. You know, you got Caden Stearns, Torian Yell, DTY.
Darian Turner.
Delarian Turner. Yeah. You pushed them
DTY,
together.
I said it correctly.
You
Thank
got
you.
this-
Thank you.
Delarian Turner. Yeah.
Thank you for confirming I was correct when I said DTY, exactly what I was saying. And and Skinner, and everyone's kind of a different flavor of fifth safety nickelback option for you.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. It is rare that you see a guy this wiry hit like that.
Yeah, because
I
he's
mean-
so big.
Yeah.
You don't even realize.
Yeah, exactly. He's carrying a
6'4",
lot
man.
of weight. It's just kind of stretched out. And then when he packs it all into one punch, he's just absolutely laying fools out.
Yeah.
One thing that I've really, really noticed that the Broncos are picking up here for defenders is instincts.
Yeah.
He plays with great, great instincts. And, you know, all three of these defensive players that they've picked, like, if you talk to, like, their position coach, they'd be like, this guy's just a football player, you know? Like, he just goes out there and plays ball. And that's usually what you say about a guy with good instincts.
Yep.
So, really excited about that. Love the way he hits. It's an exciting one. Am I crazy for getting a little bit of Lewis Scene when I watch him?
Oh, I think more range and
Yep.
a bit more of a free safety Lewis was.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean,
It's like that
Similar.
length and like the way they kind of cover guys.
being able to fly to the ball. The other common thread to me is versatility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Special teams contributor.
Big time.
And you have both like a long-term plan, like he might be that Kareem Jackson replacement long-term, and you've got a plan in the immediate where he's going to help you in sub. He might do some linebacker work in sub, and he's definitely going to help as a special teamer.
And that special teams part is the big one because that's where like
6th round.
exactly.
Well, we're looking for special teams
Exactly.
is one of the top priorities at this stage of the draft.
Yep.
Of course.
If he winds up being a 5-year, 8-year special teams player in Denver, great pick for a 6th rounder. And because of just the skill
time.
set that he has, how could that not be the case? Like
Yep.
he just needs to go out there and do it. And then you get into the other stuff where you just kind of build from the ground up and you say, well, what's he best at? Probably covering tight ends. And so there you go. When you need to, when you wind up against a tight end, you give him a couple snaps, see what happens. From there, it's probably like the slot cover 2 stuff, kind
Sure.
of crashing in.
I mean, in the box, like his
Yeah.
instincts are. But if we're talking premium traits, I would agree. His ability to use that length and coverage against tight ends up the seam is absolutely
Yep.
that's the premier trait. Because you worry, like, he does a lot, but is he ultimately like Will Parks? You
Yep.
know, you gotta have some premier traits to justify getting on a field.
Yep. So you can do that, and then all of a sudden you say, "Oh, we're not playing man or whatever this time." So you get in the cover 2 or maybe even the
Right.
cover 3, and he can play his spot there,
Right.
sit back a little bit, and crash forward. And then if he checks both those boxes, then you start to say, like, "Well, what can't he do?" and start throwing him around everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a cover 2 league. So, I mean, guys, and that's where I think you'll really thrive.
Only guy we don't have an RAS score on because he didn't test after tearing his
Yeah.
pec.
Yep.
Would've been
but
good.
he was off to a hot start with the height and weight.
Exactly.
Size was in the green, and then another RAS favorable move was made.
Yes. Yes. The trade for Adam Troutman.
He's
Yes.
a trout man.
He is a trout man.
A lot of Troutmen here in Colorado.
Damn
are.
straight.
there are.
Join the club, Adam.
Yep.
Yeah.
We might have to call him Rainbow.
Oh, come
Wow.
on. Can I get a bonus fishing reference?
We might have to call him. That one wouldn't work. I was trying to think of another type of trout.
Good.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What are the other trouts?
Oh,
Lake trout.
You guys
I
can
know.
just
I
go
went
broad.
to Brown.
I think
that probably
yeah.
wouldn't work as a
No.
nickname.
It's 50-50.
Right? Maybe that's how you grade Troutman's outings: is brown or rainbow.
Yep, or Lake. What'd you say?
Oh, Lake.
Yeah.
He hooked him.
Yep.
Nice work,
Anyways,
Sean.
Broncos trade 180.
Was it 190?
195
Let's go.
195
for
There you go.
257
257
out of
and
259
Adam Troutman.
picks.
This to me is a kind of a genius move by Sean Payton to just be like, hey, we don't need to use a pick on a third or fourth round tight end. I already have one back in New Orleans that they don't like that we can throw them a 6th round pick for and bring him in. He'll do all the same things that, you'd be getting in X, Y, or Z tight end here at the end of the draft. Great RAS for a tight end, and boom.
Yep. I do. I think the next tight end off the board, it must have been Zach Kuntz. And he's one who I don't know. I really liked, but not necessarily for the Broncos, just because he's like your 6'7", 255, but speed guy.
Yeah.
So he's like receiver, skinny, probably not the best blocker, comes from Old Dominion. But that upside is so tough to pass up.
Zach Kuntz's.
Yeah. And I do think they made the right move making the trade. And with the difference being they picked up the other 7th round pick. And so with that bonus pick, sure, go get the guy you know. You don't necessarily need upside at the position because, again, you have Greg Dulcich. And if Zach Kuntz goes on to live up to the hype, then it'll be a little bit disappointing. But I do think it was a good trade.
I wasn't as high on Zach Kuntz. A fullback is off, but it's not our guy.
my
It's
goodness.
Derek Parrish out of Houston. H-Town stand-up.
Wow. Let him fall.
No, I disagree. Now, the Kuntz tape was hard for me to watch because
Wait, what?
those
He's playing
Old
edge,
Dominion
too?
quarterbacks were so awful. I swear it made my eyes bleed watching that Zach Kuntz Old Dominion tape. It was horrible.
We're getting edge highlights for a fullback.
Wow. Wow.
It's like Jack Coletto.
Two-way guy?
Yeah.
What are those called? A what, Charlie?
Concrete Charlie.
Concrete Charlie. Holy shit. That's amazing. But Troutman, I went back to my 2020 rankings. He was the 128th ranked, just outside of a 3rd round grade, a day 3 gem. He has rare agility for a tight end, a sub 7 3-cone, which is truly unheard of. And that's on a 6'5 plus frame. He put up insane numbers at Dayton that year. I believe he was a Senior Bowl standout as well. He's going to make that tight end room very competitive. Now, as high as I was on Troutman coming out, and then I was even higher after he was drafted by the Saints because I'm a believer in Sean Payton and what he did, and I loaded up on all my dynasty teams. Hasn't worked out that way, and I was even higher on Alberto, and I was even higher on Greg Dulcich. And they're all kind of receiving tight ends. Alberto with smaller, more of that raw, straight line speed. And Dulcich maybe just more of a football guy. Just a bit smoother, nice hands, good frame, did it at a high-end program, and has shown some upside in the NFL already. It'll be interesting who wins out, but he's a nice little added weapon for sure.
Someone, if you're watching the ABC broadcast, please clip that Chiefs fan who was just dancing. Some of the worst dance moves I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to
Dang.
need that for later.
Wow.
How old?
38?
Oh, okay. Okay, so full roast is allowed.
Yes. Okay. So, those are the 2 additions. We've got one more coming. It's 13 picks from now.
Wow, I can't believe this moment is upon us.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
But I want to circle back to something from last night.
Yes.
Let's do it though after we hit. Oh, we already are we? We're good. We don't have to hit any ads.
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that. Shout out to Game Time, who I bought my Nuggets tickets.
Shout out
for
to anybody who wants to save me a table down there.
Oh, that would have been something that you should have texted someone who works here.
I know.
They're
but, I mean, I
not
don't know.
watching our broadcast.
I don't think there's anybody down there.
Oh, no,
Okay.
there
Spencer's
are.
down there.
Spencer.
Adam's down there. So,
Just
anyways,
saying.
I want to circle back.
Lindsay just came up and then went back down.
I want to circle back to something
Kale's
from
hanging
last
out on the
night.
couch there. Jake's right there.
Shut up.
I'm not gonna make Kale go sit at a table down there
Why not?
No, let him rest.
because I'm not a
he's
general
sleeping.
manager.
He's resting.
Okay, so
I might go throw some shit on a table though.
the big kind of question was after the 2 draft picks, although it was never a question for me on Riley. I almost said
Marvin Mims?
Riley Cooper.
Riley Moss?
Riley Moss.
Whoa,
I mixed
bro.
together
Holy
Cooper
cow.
DeJean and Riley Moss into one incredible white corner
Wow.
named Riley Cooper.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
Anyways, it was
said I
never
couldn't
a
be
question
done.
for me on Riley Moss, but it was for some others. And then, of course, Drew Sanders, the whole conversation from us revolved around what position he's going to play. Sean Payton said exactly what I wanted him to say, which is that he is an inside linebacker who can also flash outside and come down to the line of scrimmage, which is, to me, the most exciting way to use this guy. Little worried about how Vance Joseph does that, but I love that. And then him confirming Riley Moss as a corner for me was a bit of a relief because I would not have liked it if they drafted him and said we're going to switch him to safety.
Yeah, and I honestly wish I would have done a better job articulating this yesterday, but the reason why I was so high on Drew Sanders, the reason why he was ahead of guys like Nolan Smith or Lucas Van Ness for me is that he does have a defined immediate role, and that is as an inside linebacker. He's still raw and kind of new to the position. He might overrun things from time to time. He's going to be like instincts can be refined in coverage, tackling in space, especially when he's overrunning runs. Can miss some sometimes, but the raw tools are all there to where I don't have any concerns on that end. That's not projection. Now, when I was, I'm stacking my board and I'm thinking of the floor for this guy, the ultimate ceiling, and kind of the medium outcome, to me, the ultimate ceiling for Drew Sanders is as a dynamic outside linebacker who you can drop in coverage, is a dog in against the run, can cover sideline to sideline, and can also rush the passer and use that athleticism and length.
Well, and you
and
saw the way
become a TJ Watt type,
You saw the way Arkansas used him as a spy against like some of the
sure,
SEC's
sure.
most dangerous quarterbacks,
Yeah.
including Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, yeah.
Is he the one who injured Bryce Young?
No, because Bryce Young kind of had a non-contact.
I thought it was a shoulder thing where he was
He
like,
does get injured in that game. He's right.
I think it was.
Look that up. Look that up.
I don't know.
No, he comes back in the.
I feel like he's like trying to reach out the ball, kind of like Russ was against the Raiders.
He balls out against Bama.
Yeah,
Similar to
but
Christian Gonzalez against the Buffs.
I like the idea of doing that against the Chiefs. Kind of using him as a spy and
Yep. Sure.
allowing him to use that closing speed when, it looks like Mahomes is taking off out of the pocket. So I wonder if that was a vision they had for him as well. And the more that I watch Marvin Mims, the more that
real
I
quick
fall
on
in
Drew
love.
Sanders.
Yes.
It's crazy going back and reading all the things that people have written about him. Like, there's one story that's just about the nicknames he has.
Oh.
Yeah. So, like,
we love Nickities.
there was one in high school. The coaches called him Drago because the quote is, every time he hit somebody, we'd always say, if he dies, he dies. Drew would just give us a little smirk. Yeah. No, from there, like his trainer, like his McChesney, he
From
said,
his high school days.
yeah, but I think they still work together. But
Hell yeah.
when he showed up, I called him
No.
Thor. I said, good God, he looks like Thor. And again, like, it's not like he has long blonde hair. Like, he just said, like, no, it's not because of that. It's just like, you just look at him, like, that guy looks like he should be Thor. Like, he's like 6'5" and just like built like
Jacked.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he used to just bring bags of food with him to school. Like, he's been on like this strict diet that he made, like early high school, where he's just like eating constantly. It's just like all fruits and all this sort of stuff. And because of that, he also got the nickname Bob the Builder because he always has his little like lunch pail that he's walking around with.
That's
That's a good one.
amazing.
The stories are crazy that
Keep it coming.
yeah, they wouldn't let him practice in live drills in high school because they were worried that he'd hurt somebody on offense. So whenever they went to
If he
live
dies,
drills,
he dies.
but that's their team. It's when they play the other guys. Yeah, it's like at one point he hit a guy and there's like, yeah, we think his soul's still just on that field out there somewhere. But yeah, so they would not let him practice against the offense.
Good Lord.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of like I'm still digging around. This will all be up on the website later too. But
You want to know what's crazy? The Broncos did that with Von Miller in the NFL. But it wasn't because they thought he was going to kill someone. It was because the offense couldn't do anything while he was out there.
yeah.
That is nuts. Before we move on to your Marvin Mims observations, I went back to watch some Alabama tape of Drew Sanders, where he did play a little bit, especially his last season. So not this past season where he was at Arkansas. The one prior, went to watch the SEC championship against Georgia, where they won, and he got good amount of snaps. For one, he's a stand-up edge in that scheme, and he was the stand-up edge that was dropped in coverage most. So Saban was trusting him to drop in coverage and get after that. And then, I mean, his length and just like get off and bend as a pass rusher, super intriguing, man. Doesn't back down from anyone, even those Georgia mauling offensive linemen. You just need to like get his body right a little more, refine some moves, and the sky's the limit with so much of what he does. But that Bama tape really got me excited, made me think, man, if he stays there and is a starter this past season, which is probably the path he was on opposite Will Anderson, maybe we're talking about him as a Nolan Smith. Like, from the moment he has 5 sacks to start the season in the first month at Arkansas and is like the SEC's leader in sacks, he's been talked about and mocked as a first rounder. I never thought he'd drop to the 3rd.
Yeah.
Like, this was definitely the low end of where we expected him to go for the last calendar year.
Yeah.
And-
Couple things on Drew Sanders.
Yeah.
1, 3 sack leaders in the SEC last year.
Yep.
Number 1, Will Anderson, number 3 overall pick. Number 2, Drew Sanders, Denver Bronco. Number 3, Jordan Dominic, Colorado Buffalo.
Oh, wow.
Just a fun little fact for you. It's funny what you said about the lunch pail thing, because I was texting someone today about Drew Sanders, and I was like, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like he's the guy who didn't party on the weekends in high school because his coach told him, like, that's not the best thing for your football career, and he was just like, took it to heart. Like,
He probably didn't need to be told by anybody.
potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I was a freshman, the best player on our football team as a senior was drunk in Mexico and called our football coach crying, apologizing to him for getting drunk.
Oh, my God. That's weird. There's
amazing.
another one. So his defensive coordinator in high school was short and I think bald. And I'm not sure how anybody found this out, but he didn't like having his head touched. And the quote is, he would say, "I could eat peanuts off your head." I don't know. I know, but just to like bother him. He'd just be like, "I could eat peanuts," which is such like a
Is he a
weird
shit talker
thing.
on the field?
he.
No, I don't notice that a ton.
Interesting.
Is he Bobby Boucher?
He's
Kinda
not Bobby
sound-
Boucher.
That's what truth be told things.
I don't know who he is, but I'm really curious.
All right.
He seems like he might be an awesome football player, though.
Okay.
No,
so
I'm so hyped about
I'm
this
very
pick,
hyped.
man. I am so hyped about Drew Sanders.
and I am really hyped about Marvin Mims. Went home
Give it
last
to us,
night,
baby.
said, okay, which prospect am I going to watch? It was like 12:45. I settled on Marvin Mims. And this dude was not covered in man coverage. Wasn't done. Simply wasn't done. And I was watching, waiting for it, like just waiting for a play where he is in single coverage and he's not open. And it did not happen. And then today I ended up sending this to Jake and I think to Henry and Zach. Sorry. And he had a 99.9 PFF grade against single coverage. 99.9.
Solid.
Which confirmed my thoughts that he was never once covered
Yep.
in single coverage.
It's a beast, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
he is a freak. I'm sorry I didn't
Inside,
send it to you.
outside, deep speed to separate. When's the last time the Broncos had a true, like, deep, like, vertical threat?
I mean,
KJ
KJ.
Hamler, but
They
he
tried.
hasn't been healthy
No.
basically ever.
Yep.
And before KJ, who? Like, DT, I guess.
Yeah.
Healthy DT.
That's what I was thinking.
Sanders, Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he's so competitive at the catch point, which is really what I love. That's what really stands out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of rare to
great
get
pick,
a speed
man.
receiver who's also
pick.
that competitive at the catch point.
Yeah.
Yep.
But again, that's KJ. Like, you think back to the plays he made, they were all contested catches this year.
Yeah. That wasn't really his bag in college, though.
No, not in college.
So it's exciting. I mean, honestly, like, I'm not comping these two players because the speed is so different, but like Tyreek Hill is like the small guy who goes and wins jump balls like
Yeah.
that.
Yep. Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
Yeah. What'd you say, Yaya? Yeah. Okay. We are 8 picks away.
Cool.
Give me Hunter Lepke. If we get Hunter Lepke,
Or Miles Murphy.
Hunter Lepke's on a different tier. Also,
Miles
Caleb
Murphy?
Murphy.
Caleb Murphy.
Miles Murphy's been gone for
I was like,
a minute.
dang.
But yeah, Hunter Lepke's just insane. And I know it's a fullback, and a lot of people don't like fullbacks, and
How
they
could
already
you
have
not
a
like
fullback.
fullbacks?
I don't think that's the case.
Really? Then why don't teams have them?
No, teams don't like
Okay.
fullbacks because
Every
they're in
fan
11
does.
personnel all the time.
Okay, the fans like them.
Fans love
Teams do.
fullbacks.
Of course.
Okay.
Jeez, man, get in touch with the fans a little more.
Outside of
That's your audience.
It's your job.
the audience or the fans?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I've been doing this all wrong.
Yep. I know you were hoping a robot was listening on the other side, praising your stone cold analysis.
Yes, I was.
That's not how that works. I
That's
went back
how
to
I
watch
talk
Riley
robot.
Moss.
Oh, we're circling back. Okay.
Oh,
if
they
that's
circle back.
okay.
Well, we
Yeah.
were circling forward.
He's a
Oh.
hitter.
Circling forward.
Oh,
We were
well-
going to talk about who the Broncos are
Well,
about
let's
to pick.
let's circle forward.
Oh no, let's do that.
And then
let's
let's
do that.
circle
No,
back,
I
and
like
then the
that.
Broncos
Let's
will
circle
pick.
forward.
Yeah.
I like that.
Also, we're going to circle in Jake at some point.
We should. Yep.
Yeah, Jake, you can circle in. I'll
Alright.
put
Yeah,
a bag on the
Jake should
table.
Tell us about who he likes. That would be fun.
Oh, cool graphic, yeah.
Do you
Everybody just runs around.
I don't care if there's a graphic on when we switch.
Some people do.
do you have a preferred target at this pick, Ryan?
Well, I am deeply heartbroken that Deuce Vaughn is off the board, though it was pretty cool. Did you see the whole video with his dad and
Incredible.
they draft for him? Yeah.
Well, I had it on in the car so I couldn't see, but I was hearing Louis Riddick and McShay waxing poetic about
yeah,
it.
it was pretty special. So happy for
Sounds like
him.
it.
So my guy's kind of gone. I would love to see Lepke for sure.
How fun would that be?
And I'm a big fan of this in a situation like this, taking a flyer on a D2 guy
Like Caleb Murphy.
like Caleb Murphy.
Yeah, I'm
Jake,
surprised
you got any
they
guys?
haven't got in the trenches yet.
I mean, I'd love Hunter Lepke. That's probably my ideal guy.
All right,
here.
we're locked in.
Let me pull up a
Crosshairs.
list though.
Yeah, safety Brandon Joseph would be high on my board, though another safety would make sense. Linebacker Ivan Pace would be next on my board. Another linebacker wouldn't make sense. Xavier Hutchinson, another wide
He's off.
receiver. Oh, did he? Okay,
Yep.
my bad. Curtis McClendon, UT Chattanooga guard.
Senior Bowl guy.
Yep, plays well. Lonnie Phelps, Senior Bowl edge, out of Kansas, high-end special teamer. It's sad these running backs have gone off the board. The stupid Seahawks have really killed me. They just took Kenny McIntosh in the 7th,
Yep.
who I was just
Another running
pining
back.
over. Yes, they have drafted 2 running backs like they needed it at all. I'd love to see them add to the trenches, you know. Guys like DJ Dale, who amazingly I think is still around from Alabama, another Senior Bowl guy. Defensive tackle, kind of nose tackle type. Another Bama by Emil Ekior Jr., top guard. Guys like that.
All right.
What happened to Jackson Kirkland?
Well, he was overhyped for 2 years and then underperformed and isn't that good of an athlete and has a
All right.
long injury history.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you really feel about him? Whatever happened to Andrew Voorhees?
He got drafted,
By who?
but it seems like injuries are getting to him. If we want to go with names that were popular years ago, Eli Ricks is another guy who might be intriguing
Yep.
to go after. Oh, I'm not trying. I'm just saying. Speaking of which, Andre Carter is another guy who fits
Oh,
that
I'm in on
profile.
Andre Carter.
Man, he looked so rough at the Senior Bowl. So stiff.
There's
Well-
Rajon Wright, the corner out of Oregon State, also.
Go Beavers.
Alex Forsyth, the center out of Oregon.
Okay.
Sadly, I know ball so good that all of my guys are long gone.
It seems like you didn't take enough risks with your guys.
Well, actually, Lepke's my highest rank guy. I wanted to put him, but Henry had him.
Dre's like Bryce Young, Will Anderson.
No, none of those guys are first round guys. Come on.
How about Sean Tucker, the running back out of Syracuse,
Don't do
too?
Oh, he's a
Yeah,
beast.
now, did Mohamed Ibrahim go?
He has not.
So, yeah, let's talk running back where I really think there's some value. Also, with so few picks, I think we're for sure seeing some undrafted free agents we'll get hyped about.
Yeah.
Travis Dye, too, former Oregon USC guy. He plays with no gloves, no anything.
Terrible
Naked
look.
arms and hands. He makes it work. He looks badass.
No, he doesn't.
He looks badass.
Tavion Thomas?
You are a hater.
Utah running back?
Yep. For the brand. Jake has to mention
course.
all the Pac-12 guys. The Conference of Champions, right?
Yes, for the next
now.
couple months.
Yep.
Oh, ouchie. Yeah. Oh, Alex Forsyth.
Yes.
Tall center, long career at Oregon. He'd be a nice one. Oh, there you go. Good job, Jesse. Forsyth,
And
exactly.
Jake also
I
just said it.
I said him.
For the brand.
So good job for him as well.
Yeah, definitely. Good job by Jake. Always. So
Thank you.
that's where we're at here. That's
All right.
where we're at.
Okay, let's get to your Riley Moss takes.
Yeah. So watched him. Man, what an interesting prospect. So for one, he's one of the few corners that checks off the 4 key boxes of 4.4 speed, over 6 foot, and with actual like fluidity and coverage. Ran a really electric 3-cone. And then on top of that, he has physicality. I mean, Emmanuel Forbes and Christian Gonzalez check off the first 3 boxes. That's why they went in the first round. They don't have the physicality, at least not consistently, you know. What gets me about Riley Moss is how much zone he played, and then the fact that he didn't impress me in one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl. And look, those one-on-ones are set up to fail,
Thank
right?
you. I
So it
thought he
doesn't-
actually did impress
doesn't-
me in the one-on-one.
And that's the thing. We've done this for a gajillion years. He looks like doo-doo to you. Another guy thought, wow, he actually looked good. The thing is, that does matter is he doesn't get beat almost at all at Iowa. There's not a ton of... I wish he just gave me a few more flash plays. Now, mind you, I'm watching him against Wan'Dale Robinson and Will Levis in the Bowl against Kentucky. I'm watching him against Ohio State. I'm watching against Michigan. And I think part of that Iowa defense is we can take death by a million paper cuts because our defense is going to make big plays and flip the field on you or what have you. What we can't do is allow big plays and get beat. So he's always playing a smidge more conservative because it's essential they not get beat by that one big play that with how bad their offense could have ended the game right then and there, right? So there's a lot of like watching Riley Moss and be like, man, he never gets beat, but I do wish there was that play where he just like jumped to the ball or took more of a risk. Like even as a tackler, super willing run defender for a corner, you see him like taking on like Paris Johnson on poles against Ohio State, like fearless, but then super sound football player. He's always tackling low, right?
Yep.
And like pulling guys down by the feet where like once in a while I wish I'd see the guy just light you up, you know?
He does on a couple screens.
And that's the thing is when you see the highlights, it's all against Minnesota and Northwestern where he has that confidence of I can take this guy on and just like go attack this at the point of attack, or I can blow this guy up and make a statement here. So he's just interesting, man. Like the profile of who I want opposite PS2. I talked about this when I was subbing in for you on the Broncos pod. I thought of like a Darren Williams type, that dog who might get beat, but then is going to get you a game-winning interception or like a pass-winning PBU. And that's like, that to me was a lot of other guys in this class who it's like, man, you're really going to have to clean this up or they're not going to be exactly this. But they had that. Ronald Darby's that kind of guy.
Yes.
Riley Moss, steady Eddie, man. Like he doesn't have that. And it's just a different way of seeing it. And maybe that is a better way to go opposite PS2 as this guy who's just going to be like sound, play in, play out. And I mean, the profile's definitely, the tools and traits are definitely those of a future NFL starter at a premium position. So who am I to criticize this pick?
What's funny is when I look at him and I watch him play, I'm like, this guy could have been a 100-catch slot receiver. And I love that he broke the mold to become a corner because he's obviously going to make a lot more money at that position. But his ball skills are better than the guys he's covering. Like I'm just watching him run routes for dudes and then high point the ball on 6 of his 11 interceptions at Iowa. He's sick, man. I'm super excited for him, and I think you mentioned it perfectly. You kind of want a guy on the other side who's going to take risks and make big plays, because you just know that he's going to get opportunity after opportunity. And you could do the guy who just keeps everything in front of him. And I think he can do that decently well, too. But
he did it at Iowa.
Yeah, but
He turns and runs with guys really well.
I want to see him jump a pass, from Justin Herbert and take it back the other way when Justin Herbert has ignored the entire right side of the field.
Right.
To say, okay, I'm going after Riley Moss. Like, I don't care if you get beat for 25 if you take one back later in the game.
Yep. Another fullback went, not our guy, Oklahoma. Jose, to answer your question, Riley Moss did play almost exclusively right cornerback. In that zone look, he's just lined up over on the right side. Saw a little slot play against Ohio State, moved well. I don't know that you're maximizing his talent close to the line of scrimmage in the slot. He doesn't strike me as the most twitched up. But again, that 3-cone proves otherwise, proves that he's an elite agility guy, He doesn't play the biggest either, right? But he's over 6 feet. Like,
I think there's
some Iowa bias.
There's illusions in your brain that are playing tricks on you.
Could it be?
I think it's happening to everyone. He doesn't look like a guy who would be a fast twitch athlete. He's a white guy with a mustache.
Oh, and then you see him without a helmet. That's really... But I can separate that. I've got the skills to separate.
What, you don't like the flow and the stash?
I mean, again, like for Ferris State's ranked hockey team, it's a great look. It's not what I'm used to for my DBs.
I know. That's why I love it so
just
much.
Not what I'm used to.
I know. It's fantastic.
Just the guy being honest, You don't get this honest analysis from those cowards at ESPN,
All right. We are 2 picks away.
Oh, let's go.
The Eagles actually picked a guy who didn't go to Georgia. Good for them.
Finally.
Ronnie Bell would be amazing. And then they trade for DeAndre Swift. Those bastards.
Yeah. Yeah, they are
How
stocking up.
dare they?
I still don't know. Like, I need to look
Now-
at their roster with how much they lost to free agency and be like, are they good or not?
Great segue. All the praise for the Eagles and what Howie Roseman does, and boy is it warranted. They, to get Keely Ringo at the top of the 4th round, traded a future 3rd. Makes you feel a smidge better about that Riley Moss trade. Also, with how those first picks in the 4th went,
Jesus.
that 108th pick was a premier pick, man. Like, that was a lot of talent went off the board in that 4th round. Fourth round, always my favorite round. It's just crazy. All the leftovers come, you slept on it, and teams just get it right. Also, so many teams like the Broncos who didn't draft on day 1 really put together some great drafts, with the exception of the San Francisco 49ers, who are just a bit franchise.
They just picked your boy, Ronnie Bell.
Yep, Jake's boy.
Oh. Yeah, I do not care about the trade compensation as long as the player works out. If the player works out, never think twice about it. If the player's not good, then you look back and say, what the hell were they thinking? So I'm not going to judge that trade until I see what Riley Moss is.
It's just a lot for a mid to late 3rd.
But you won't say that if he's a Pro Bowler.
Or even just a starting corner who is like good and not bad,
I do think we'll get back to this maybe later, but I do think it brings up some interesting questions about what they think of Damari Mathis. Because I don't think either of those guys move inside.
Opposite risk taker, grabby, he does give me those flashes. He's got that, he shows me on tape he's that dog consistently, and sometimes he bites him in the ass.
Yep.
But he's got that.
All right, you want back in, Hank?
Are they on the clock?
For the pick?
Ooh, grand debut. Debussy or Dubois.
Maybe
DeBose.
DeBose if he's from America.
DuBose. Charlotte wide receiver. This guy's got some dog in him.
Charlotte, underrated unis.
You heard it here first.
Let's see. I just realized I should be refreshing Twitter, not just
All right,
at
Broncos
these
on the
things.
clock. We're about to wrap up. We were hoping to get
On
Zac
the clock.
Stevie on this show. Probably not going to happen.
Monday.
But
Zachy Stevens?
that means we'll have some gems from Zach on Monday.
Alex Forsyth.
Forsyth.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yep.
As pointed out by Jake, the chat, and Andre.
We get the see. That's why I back cleanup sometimes.
Wow.
You know. Do you have Forsyth material, or do you want to sub in Jake since he already
my
brought
big
him up?
Forsyth material
in
mostly
Forsyth,
is
of course.
what that means for the center position.
Yeah.
Luke Wattenberg's gone.
The Broncos had a lot of foresight to go
Ooh.
get this guy, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been kind of constantly updating like
Luke
current
Wattenberg was
53
never.
man.
I mean, I don't know what they were doing.
The
mean-
wattage is out on Wattenberg. And look, he was a zone-only center. So the second
True.
we started going Sean Payton all in on the power scheme and adding guys like Ben Powers,
Yep.
he probably should have started, packing up and ordering bulk boxes and assembling those.
Yeah.
Because his time in Denver was coming to an end.
Yeah. There you go.
I might weigh more than him.
Stop it.
So Forsyth is longtime starter at Oregon. That's right.
Correct?
Yep. I
Correct.
feel like I've seen highlights of him blocking for Justin Herbert.
I know. He's been around a long time, Rhino.
He's been playing since he was a redshirt freshman in 2018.
So yes. Holy shit, that is a long time.
Wow.
How old is he?
He's an old boy because if 2017 he was 18,
He's 25 years old. Okay.
so-
Holy shit.
Yep.
he's Hendon Hooker's age.
Doesn't have a torn ACL though, so that's good.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's great. He's a longer, taller center who moves well in pass pro. I mean, he's smart. He's got a ton of experience. This is a solid guy, and he's an upgrade on what you had at backup center already.
So what's the reason that he is available with the 257th pick?
This center class was loaded, man. I mean, we saw the Michigan guy who I was super high on go just a round ago, and the ESPN set was just drooling over him. Whippler out of Ohio State went late in the 6th. I mean, it was just an abnormally loaded center class, and Forsyth, who most years might be the 3rd or 4th best center in the class, was like the 6th.
Yep.
And we kind of lucked out that he dropped and took advantage of a position of strength in this class.
I mean, older player, athletic
too.
testing
That too.
wise,
Yep.
not great.
Right.
But this is a guy, he was first team All Pac-12 last year. He was second team, I believe, in 2021, second team in 2020. And that's when he became a full-time starter. So,
Hell yeah. We wanted the Broncos to address center.
Yep.
They, in my opinion, almost, when they made that trade with the Saints, we're like, okay, we need one bullet at the end of the draft so we can get a guy that we like and not have to worry about trying to get him in, free agency.
Yeah.
And so this is what they did. This kind of, to me, the one pick for need. They made the whole draft.
Yep.
And they were like, that's fine. It's 257th pick. Let's use something that we kind of are looking for here and go after it. And I like it.
Yeah. I have a note on that, and I love the way that you said that. They did not draft for need in this draft. That's a big note for me on this Sean Payton class. Not going for running back despite the book and like Zach hearing that was something they were going to address really tells me they let the board fall to them. They targeted specific players and didn't just target needs. They went for the strengths of this draft, and they targeted premium positions and versatility, So all of that really is all sound approaches to team building.
What's so funny is after the pre-draft press conference, I got to go find this clip. Zach and Hank came back and said, the Broncos said they are drafting best player available. They're truly sticking to it. And I literally said, I'll believe that if they use their first pick on a wide receiver.
that's amazing.
And that's what they went out and did. And so I fully
Dang.
believe them. And you look down the list, and I had someone DMing me today being like, this is crazy. I can't believe they didn't take a running back. And it's like, yeah, they said they want to take best player available, and so they stuck to it. And, you can obviously disagree with their board, and you could say, oh, they should have taken A-Kane instead of Riley Moss or whatever.
Right.
But that I truly believe they stuck to their board. They had some guys that they loved. They went and got them. And at the end here, I think they did decide, hey, we want to get a center just to add, to what we have in camp. But on the whole, they went best player available, and I really respect that.
I mean, I think it's what you have to do. It's the only way you're going to win the draft, man.
Especially when you don't have early picks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, needs come and go.
Yep.
Like, one wide receiver might be a need next year. Like,
It was a need last year when everyone got hurt, man.
It sure was, yeah. So, I mean, things change quick. And when you have certain talents in front of you, you take them so that you don't end up having draft classes where it's like they took so-and-so before the actual good player,
Yep. Also, Alex Forsyth, Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year finalist. Solid.
That's huge. Good locker room guy. And then, I mean, the other thing is, like, look, I talked about this with Zach, the Joe Brady connection to Sean Payton. He's the name on everyone's lips in that amazing LSU season, right, with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Who's a center? Lloyd
Yeah.
Cushenberry. Who's that team's leader and LSU's number 18, which is only given to their, like, outstanding team leader, Lloyd Cushenberry, who stood out at the Senior Bowl that year and graduated early just so he could attend the Senior Bowl, Lloyd Cushenberry. And he also has a year under his belt with the same quarterback he played with last year.
Yeah.
He also was a finalist for the William Campbell.
Let's go.
William B. Campbell.
Let's go Nuggets.
Nuggets
Let's go
energy has
Nuggets.
entered the building.
Scared the hell out of me, though.
You're kind of a little jumpy. I scared you the other day.
Bro, I mean, I was not expected to be just, like, yelled at when I was in the bathroom. I'm sorry.
I didn't yell. I
like
just
it.
walked in and was like,
You're yelling at
Damn.
employees while they're in the bathroom.
Buffs are going to get a
now?
great transfer. He's like, Jesus. Scared the shit out of me.
I mean, I get a pass for this last one. This guy just came in behind me clapping up a
You
storm.
didn't see him coming?
No.
That's funny. Maybe it's your peripherals that are the issue.
Maybe, I guess. What?
All right.
So they've already signed. Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
the guard from Alabama I mentioned has already signed with the Colts. Henry just said. So yeah, it begins. I expect a new running back to be coming in any minute here, Hank. And I
Yeah,
think there's
for
corner talent to be had. I think there's O-line talent to be had. Wide receiver talent always there to be had. And Lepke, man, Lepke, Caleb Murphy. Let's make it
Oh,
happen.
let's get Lepke.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's
still
get
sad.
Lept.
I'm still sad about Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, going to the boys. Whereas
I had such a
Pops
good
is
feeling that
coaching.
like all these players have been like direct comps to players that Sean Payton had. Like, all the guys that they're drafting, and I was like, oh, he's gonna get his Darren Sproles. Didn't happen. All right, let's wrap up here.
Watching this Forsyth tape against Georgia, very, very solid. Wide
That's
shoulders
huge against Jalen Carter and
the boys.
Jordan Davis.
Yeah, no, moves well. Well, this was this past
year?
year.
Oh, they already okay. Didn't they play the year before too?
They did. They
So
did.
we can watch that tape as well.
We could. We could.
I want to wrap here. Give me your immediate grade for the Denver Broncos draft class, and I think you should grade on a curve based on the picks that they had available.
Well, Ryan, that's how I always grade, because if you didn't, then you'd have to grade the trades that got us here. And so what am I going to get out? 5 fucking grades, one for the Russ trade, one for the Sean Payton trade, one for the Bradley Chubb trade, one for the Riley Moss trade, and then a grade for every pick they made? No, we're just grading the picks based on where the pick was made. Understood?
Yes.
It's an A. It's
Nice.
an A. It's a first round grade borderline with Drew Sanders in the third. It's a second round grade for Marvin Mims in the third. it's still a top 120 guy for me and at a premium position in Riley Moss. Skinner's ranked even higher than Riley Moss at 102. Borderline future starter grade for him. And then Forsyth, who was not an undrafted grade, that's an A. With where you were drafting, that's an A. I'm a Troutman guy as well.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, you can't grade the trades. You just said you weren't going to do that.
Yeah.
it's a bonus comment.
Okay, bonus
Doesn't
comment.
impact the grade,
Bonus
but bonus comments.
I'm at an A2. I mean,
Let's
given
go.
the circumstances, for sure, man. You got a receiver who can plug right in 11 personnel. You got a linebacker who can actually rush the passer, too, as well as play linebacker.
Impacts the game on the downs that matter, yes.
And then Riley Moss, I mean, maybe a bit of a, conundrum of where he plays exactly. And maybe kind of the same with Skinner, but
No conundrums.
no?
Nope.
You're fully on board?
Riley Moss, corner, future Pro Bowler.
Yes, and I'm also all
You
in
heard
on
it
the
here
Riley
first.
Moss as a corner, by the way.
Yeah.
Safety, no. You're minimizing his value significantly. I keep interrupting you. I'm
Although
so
I do
sorry.
like the ball skills at safety. But anyways.
Skinner, I mean, obviously a thumper, and the injury is going to be something that he deals with through camp and stuff this year. So I don't know what we're really getting this year. But he's got the length. At the Senior Bowl, I didn't think he was super impressive in one-on-one coverage. But if you're playing safety, that's not what you're going to be doing anyways. So
So with Skinner being the exception, I think and not the exception, just the question mark in this regard based on the health. I think every one of these players competes for playing time this year, including Forsyth.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a B+ just because it lacks star power to me. Love key to the Cowboys. They got my two favorite backs.
Darn.
So, like I said, I give it a B+. It just, to this point, I don't know if it has a star. Now, that's a reflection of where they started picking. But I think there's star potential in Mims, in Cooper, and certainly in Sanders. They didn't get anyone that I came into this draft saying, I adore this guy, save for maybe Riley Moss, who I didn't think about all that much, but I did like him a lot.
When he said
because I loved
Cooper, he meant Riley Moss.
Jesus. It's because I have Cooper DeJean on my fucking Madden team. And he's a beast. But anyways.
I figured it was a Riley Cooper thing. Which is
Riley
like
Cooper. I forgot about him.
inappropriate, bro.
that guy.
He's been canceled.
Yeah, he
He
has
has
been.
been.
He has been rightfully canceled.
Yes, right.
Anyways, Riley Moss is a guy that I did really like watching him at Iowa. I didn't really, for whatever reason, I just didn't think about him all that much in the draft process. But because they didn't get any of my guys, I go B+.
Mims was my guy, man. Go back
Yeah.
to the draft pod from when did we record before the draft? Last weekend?
Yeah, I mean, within the last 8 days, yep.
Yep. That was my target for them with
You
their
were
first
all
pick,
in on 'em.
and I couldn't be happier with it, honestly.
Hank, you want to jump on and give your grade here?
Hank, give us your grade.
Jump on.
All right.
Here comes Henry. I want some undrafted free agent signings.
Damn, I'm
to come.
glowing
Nothing
right
yet.
now.
It's an A.
Oh, wow.
Just like
I
an
give the
easy
lowest grade.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
I'm a hater.
you are a hater. We knew that. But yeah, it's all good values. The Marvin Mims pick, again, I wouldn't have done it. But once you realize that they are just going straight best player available, that's the strategy. They stuck with it. And because of that, I think that they got great values at just about every pick.
Hell yeah. All right. We will be discussing this draft class all week on the DNVR Broncos podcast. We'll find out from Zac what George and Sean Payton say about the class on Monday, and also I'm sure we'll have something on the website about it. So check it out. We look forward to breaking it down. I think we're going to give each guy a day this week, Henry, and dive really deeper into them. So we're looking forward to that. Thanks to everyone who hung out with us all weekend.
Yes.
This has been a blast. Go Nuggets and go Avs.
Hell yeah. Go Nuggets, baby.